All right, man. So here we are once again. We're gonna put up another class as the lost sheep of Israel are known to do, alongside of all my other Hebrew Israelite brethren abroad, putting out the good work, uh, putting out the truth of this of these scriptures, and you know that's what we do best, and we're hated for it, right? But that's what Yahweh Shai said: you're going to be hated for my name. You're going to be hated for this truth's sake. Why? Because it's not all inclusive, right? I think that's where the problem lies, right? Because we show that the Bible is showing exclusivity instead of inclusivity, and that's where the problem lies. But here's another problem: the fact that wicked ass people want to be included in what was intended to be holy and separate. So that presents a problem in itself. So you want everybody to be included, but everybody is not willing to do the will of the Most High. Okay, and so the scriptures tells us that He made an election, a choice for those that actually want to do the will of the Most High. It's not that they want; it's already purposed into them. It's already programmed into their DNA, right? It's just it's by election and by choice. So He chose certain people to nurture in His righteousness, and but we can bring up precepts for that. But my intention today is to hit a quick lesson because I don't want to have it drag out, because I want to expose the vermin, as the description says. We're going to expose the vermin, right? That is Esau, okay? The cancer that he is on this planet, and we're going to expose it because the Most High exposed it. And so we're just going to bring out the precepts, and like the title says, you can guess who it is. You know what I mean? If you're, first of all, like I always say, I'm not here to preach to the masses. I'm here to teach the elect. Okay, for the elect's sake, to wake up and take hold of this truth and get them squared away so we can depart. So I know I'm gonna have naysayers. I know I'm gonna have people that want to bring out an opposition. So be it. You know what?
You can send them a link, huh? You can send them a link,
Yeah,
and they can come on. We can talk about it.
At the end, if we have time, or I feel that everything's going well in the spirit, then I'll bring out the link, and you're gonna have to prove your cause, because here, the lost sheep and all my elect brothers abroad do this by the book. We do it by the book. So how is it that we're hated for doing things by the book? Okay, but with all that, that's just my quick little spiel on it. Let's get into it. Let's discover who this vermin is, and I'm going to give all praises and glory to the Most High God, and to commence this and take us throughout within the blessing of the Rakwa Kadash, the Rakwa Kadash, that is the Holy Spirit. And so, with that being said, I'm going to face the east. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God. Abanawa, Yahweh, Kahala, Abanawa, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakwa Kadash, Barakatah. All praises to our King, and glorify our King, Hamashiach, Mamalak, Adawan, Yahweh Shai, Baba Gusha, Barak Wapa, the Ba. Okay, and that just means just bless this word. All right, so let's get it popping. All right, Baba Gusha, bring us to Genesis 25, okay? And I covered a couple of these things in our last rebuttal to the little comeback to, yeah, you know what, man? Listen, to tell you the truth, I'm not. You know, I know that debating our cause and reasoning the scriptures brings out evidence and stuff, but you know what? I'm tired of going back and forth with the tit for tats. You don't know how many comments I had to readdress upon that, you know. And like I said, you know, I'm going to focus on the elect. I'm going to bring this out for the elect's sake. You know, if I got time to humor people that want to just be to the contrary, so, you know, maybe I have fun with it, you know what I mean? But really,
Hey, you know what? In the spirit, Doc, let me bring out a precept for all you gainsayers out there that think that, you know, we ain't got no truth in what we saying.
Brother, we in tag team mode. Do what you do. Bring it up.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 41 and verse 21. Produce your cause, saith the Most High. Bring forth your strong reasons, saith the King of Jacob. So unless you bring in any precepts or any historical information to back up your claims and what you're saying,
back up the precepts,
then stay quiet, man. If it ain't coming out the scriptures, stay quiet. Don't bring out anything.
That's it. Or learn that you're veering off, that you're bugging out. Just admit it to yourself and say, well, you know what, and humble down. People think that we're not humble. You know what I mean? Just because we come out rude in speech or austere, because let me tell you something. I follow Christ even to his austereness, you know. So I'm not here to give you hugs and kisses, man. The doctrines of men have been doing that for years with you guys. And what has it produced? Absolutely nothing. So it's time for me to get up hardcore in your skull and really compel you to see what these scriptures are actually saying. You know, we're not here adding or taking away. We say, thus saith the Lord. And people have a problem with that. Okay? But let's get it started. So today's lesson is guess who? All right? So we're gonna try to put two group of people on the table, okay? And you guess who it is. You know, at some point I'm probably gonna give a little bit of it away because of what the scriptures is saying. There's no way around it because the scriptures is gonna say it for me. I'm just gonna kind of like reiterate it or try to put it as Barney style as I can for you, right? All right. Genesis 25, give me 22 and 23.
Okay. Khan, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 22. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
Okay, hold that. So listen, I could even start this back to the beginning with Cain and Abel. Okay, but we're gonna fast forward to the key component of the person that we're dealing with, right? So I'm gonna fast forward to, but know that this is just a re-emergence of those two opposition spirits. Okay, all right. So she's inquiring. Rebecca is inquiring because she has problems with the twins that are in her belly. They're fussing inside her womb. They're not even out. They're fussing inside her womb. Okay? And as I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking of a precept. Just scratch this down on a piece of paper for later on when I need it. I want to know the precept, the children not yet being born and having done no evil. It's, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, that's in Romans 9.
Yeah, I know it's in Romans 9. I don't know the exact verse, but we'll get it in a minute. All right. So Um, read on to 23. Go ahead. Read on.
All right. Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb,
Two nations are in your
and
womb.
two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
And two manner of people are gonna two manner of people. So from two twins, from two brothers, and remember, for people that don't think that history repeats itself, it does, because the Most High is constantly showing us throughout time the patterns. Okay, so from two brothers, right? That one was slain from the other. Here we have two twin brothers again, that two manner of people, okay? Not the same people. It's already clarifying this. This is not the same people in your womb. I'm going to create two people from this spawning of your womb, okay? Go ahead. Jump to verse 27.
Well, let me finish that out. And the one people shall be strong, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Mm-hmm.
And the elders shall serve the younger.
Okay, so understand that part, that despite we are physically more adept, physically stronger, mentally, in every way, the Israelites were built to be better than anybody else in the nation of the nations, right? And this is not part of my notes, but we can prove that in Deuteronomy 7 and 6, right? And I'll just paraphrase. He says, above all people on the face of the earth, okay? That we're greater than all people on the face of the earth. This is not just me saying it. This is a God-given fact in the scriptures. If you believe these scriptures, if you believe this Bible, this is what the word does say of the Lord, right? That he built us that way, bigger and better. You're a bit frozen. I hear you, but I hear you twisting pages, but I don't know if you still, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You're kind of frozen. It's cool if you're frozen, as long as if you could bring out the precepts, that's fine. It'll probably unfreeze in a second, or if not, if you want to come in and come out, that's fine. Let's see how it works. Give me verse 27.
Damn.
Yeah, you're frozen. I hear you.
All right, as long as you hear me.
I hear you. I mean, try to shut down your screen. I mean, and we don't have to, I mean, you're looking good, brother. You could stay on there frozen if you want, man, but I hear you. But bring out verse 27. You will figure it out in a second.
Damn.
But if you want, just bring out 27, read it, and while I give the breakdown on it, you can come in and come out.
All
right, I'll come out and
this is the book of Genesis. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 26.
No, give me. All right, I wanted 27, but if you think 26 is relevant to it, bring it.
Well, I say we should start off at 25, huh?
All right, then. If you're there examining it.
25, verse 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Okay.
Red like a hairy garment. All right. Why is this important, that this descriptive analogy of the first child? Why is this important? Note that Jacob, a description of him was not given. So the fact that the first child came out this way, it's something that they felt they had to make a point of, because it was not the norm. Because had it been the norm, they wouldn't have even bothered to mention it, right? And so the Most High wanted it to be mentioned, because because if not, it would not be in His holy word, right? It would not be even in the Torah, which is the first 5 books in our instruction manual. So guess what? In the spirit, He compelled the author to make sure that this description was prevalent. Okay? So he came out red like a hairy garment. All right? And they called this name Esau. All right, continue.
Verse 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob.
Okay.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Okay. So no description as to the there's a word,
his appearance.
His appearance, thank you. No description on his appearance, okay? Just a normal baby that took hold. So one was red and hairy, and so the other one must have been the norm, right? Okay, because they didn't say he was anything other than what would have been the people of that time. Okay, but we're still playing Guess Who, so I'm just going to give you little bits and clues and see if you guys can put it together, because you guys always tend to you guys always tend to accuse us that we're like injecting our own thoughts or our own premise on it. You know what I mean? So it's just we're gonna let you decide. Okay. So 20. Okay, now 27. Here's the thing, man.
Khan. Genesis chapter 25, verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field.
Okay, so this is the spirit of Esau, right? He's a cunning hunter, a man of the field. You know, so let's think about it, man. Esau is the big wilderness guy. He's apt to hunt, apt to kill. You know what I mean? This is what he grew into. It was his the nature of his spirit, right? But look where the nature of his spirit goes, right? Genesis 27, and give me the 41st verse.
You sure? Let me hit. Oh shoot! Let me hit verse 40 as well, because that's gonna explain about him being a cunning hunter.
Okay, absolutely. All
right.
And by the way, when your phone fell, bro, I didn't even see you move. you're still frozen. Yeah, man.
All right. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shall serve thy brother.
Right. So by the sword you shall live. This is again within your spirit. You're gonna live as a killer. You're gonna live by the sword. Right? Go ahead, bring out the next one.
And shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Mm-hmm. So here we're talking about servitude, right? But hold on, give me a second. I want to look into something real quick. You want to try to come in and come out real quick while I do that?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. I'm just waiting for my aunt to come back in, so he can become unfrozen. Um, we wasn't having a problem with hearing him, but I just don't like him to be all stiff. Despite we are the stiff neck, but not us, bro, because we have broken that yoke from off our necks. But here's the thing: in that last verse, Esau got a problem with being in servitude, okay, to the what he would consider being the lesser, because he thinks, come on, you're still buffering now. I clicked you in, but it's not like you're fully coming in. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, man. Then you have a black screen, but I don't know what's going on with that. But it's better than seeing you all frozen and stuff. As long as you can hear me and we can hear you, and you can bring out the precepts. So what I'm bringing out and what I was about to start explaining is that Esau got a problem being subservient to his younger brother, right? Um, this is by the will of God that it be so, because even Isaac explains that down the line. Okay, I seen your thing pop up. You try to bring your video on if you want. I just saw your thing catch up. Nah, it's not allowing your video. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, but Isaac goes to explain this, that this is the
Sound
will
good?
of God anyway, with the two. But see, this causes some type of sibling rivalry, if you may will, right? And so read the next verse, 41 now.
Khan. Genesis chapter 27, verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
Right. So like I was alluding to, as far as the blessing, again, Isaac goes down to know that what was actually going on. It's not nobody tricked it. It was the will of the Most High for it to be that way. But this is where the seed of hatred of Esau. Well, this seed is from way back since Cain. Okay, but this seed of hatred is already uh, festering up in Esau against Jacob. Okay, to the point that he set out to slay him. Okay, so throughout the spirit of Esau, he's always looking to slay Jacob. Now, when we look at Esau in the broader spectrum, and we look at Jacob in a broad spectrum, you know, Esau is the forefather of the Edomites, and Jacob is the forefather of the Israelites, right? So, what did we say in verse 22 of the 25th chapter of Genesis? Two nations. So these two names are representative of their prospective nation. Okay? Let's go to, and we're going to show how this nation develops in a certain direction. The focus here is Esau mainly. Okay? We're gonna bring Jacob into the mix later on, but I want the guess who is really veered towards Esau, because you know it's time that we start seeing things for what they are. We start waking up and smelling the coffee and looking at the world around us. I mean, who in their right mind thinks that under the leadership that we're under, that under the conditions that we're under, without the rulership of Yahweh Shai, that things can possibly get any better? Okay? But we're going to get into that in a little bit here. All right. So let's start seeing the pattern of the nation that is being built. Take me to Genesis 36, and let's read 8 and 9 for right now.
Khan. Here's the book of Genesis, chapter 36, and verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
Okay, so here's another code name for Esau. Esau is Edom, okay, which that was what Esau's name was changed to, right? Remember that Jacob's name was changed to Israel, okay? So the Most High gives them their appropriate names. Also, also we're compared to Mount Zion as they are compared to Mount Seir. Is where they dwelt. Okay, so they also carry the name of their dwelling place of the inception of where they had their dwelling place in the beginning. Okay, so let's go to continue through verse 9.
Genesis 36 and verse 9. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir.
Okay, so it just reiterated what I said in its proper context in the scriptures, right? All right, so Esau is Edom, Edom is Seir. Okay, all right. So now, where does Esau and Seir start developing? You're going to see some key things that I want to bring out in verses 19.
Khan. Genesis chapter 36, verse 19. These are the sons of Esau, who is Edom, and these are their dukes.
And these are their dukes. Okay. Now, when it comes, if we're going to relate this word dukes, right? They're kind of what your noblemen, your governors, your what else would you consider them out? Like your high
that's like their version of like a chief or a tribal leader
or a prince or something
a prince or a governor, yeah,
right. But notice that Esau is establishing a different way to come across, right? Because when you look at the word dukes, your mind, or at least mine does, just references Europe, right? And the European nations, the only people that I ever heard being called dukes were in England or in Scotland and in these so-called places. I don't want to say Edomite places. We're not going there. You can relate it to it in a little bit, but this is where my mind takes me to, and not that I'm using my mind. I'm using my spiritual discernment according to the scriptures, and tying it up with what I've known throughout history, right? So, dukes, right? So this is the first time we ever hear this word, and it's only in relation to the Edomites. It's not being in relationship because we're not. All the other nations never called themselves in this manner. Okay. Give me verse 43 because we can go through the generations. I'm not gonna bore you with giving you all the name after the name and the grandson and the next grandson and the son and so forth, giving you the whole lineage because it'll go all the way from 19 to 43. I'm just going to jump it to 43 and let's see what it says there.
Khan. Genesis chapter 36 and verse 43. Duke Magdiel, Duke Eram. These be the dukes of Edom, according to their habitations in the land of their possession.
So wherever they possess themselves, or whatever possession they get, and this is the beginning of them grabbing possession, okay? Because this is going to grow into a way bigger monster, okay? So, but wherever it's given to them, they hold themselves with the head up high, like they consider themselves the hierarchy. So these are the dukes in the lands where they possess. Okay, let's go to
Hey, can I bring out a precept real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Khan, hey, and this goes right along with what you're talking about, because right now we're talking about how the nation of Edom, they name their leaders dukes, their princes, and their leaders as dukes, right? So I'm gonna go to First Maccabees chapter 10, and then I'm gonna hit verses 59 and then 65. All right.
Bring it up.
So this is First Maccabees chapter 10 and verse 59. Now King Alexander, which was a king of the Romans at this time. Now King Alexander had written unto Jonathan that he should come and meet him. Verse 65. So the king honored him and wrote him among his chief friends and made him a duke and partaker of his dominion. So as we could see, the reason why I brought that out was because even the Romans, they use that term duke, which we can see back from Genesis. The Edomites are the only ones who would use that term.
All praises that we work in one accord. This is where I'm taking it to. I'm taking it to the Roman Empire. I'm taking it to the bigger monster that it becomes, right? This snowball effect of Esau, right? No pun intended, right? So let's go to look now. When Esau takes possession of a place, man, this is how he rolls, right? Give me Numbers 20, and let's go to verse 14. We're gonna go through 21.
Okay. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 20 and verse 14. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus said thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that hath befallen us.
So here is Israel, right? Or pleading with Esau, like, come on, man, you know all the problems we've been through, all the hardship we've been through. So in other words, they want Esau to be merciful, right? They want him to be like, you know, man, come on, man, you know our struggle, man. Can you at least let us pass through here? Okay, continue reading, because I'm giving it away a little bit.
Verse 15. How our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. All
right. So they're telling, they're giving them a little a spiel on the hardships they had to go through. And go ahead, 16. You okay, Art?
Verse 16. Verse 16. And when we cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice and sent an angel and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of thy border.
So they're even giving them by what authority they've gotten to where they've gotten to. All right? They've given them, they say, you know, it was the angel of the Lord that brought us even all the way here, and now we're at your border. Okay? So let's see if Esau even gives a damn, right? This is how you know that Esau he gave up his own birthrights for which the priest is going to come out in that later for a piece of meat. Let alone does he care about the God of Jacob? Okay, so or Israel for that matter. Go ahead. 17.
Verse 17. Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields or through the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left until we have passed thy borders.
So, dude, man, just let us cross through this like a shortcut for us. Let us go through your hood, and yo, we promise to be good. We're not gonna touch none of your stuff. We're not going to disturb anything. We just want passage, right? And you know, when I read this, I relate this to when we have to, if ever, I don't know. I grew up in New York, where we do a lot of walking sometimes, or sometimes certain hoods cross other hoods, right? And I even remember when we first were migrating up, like how can I explain this? We was in one area of the hood, and we started kind of migrating upward. And as we migrated up, you know, there was another kind of people. I'm still on our guess who. I'm not gonna say anything, right? And I noticed that as we went up, now we're in their hood, so now we're playing by their rules, you know. And we were constantly getting beat up until they decided to migrate out because it started becoming too overwhelming for them because more and more of us kept coming into the hood, right? But then it comes back around where they do gentrify stuff. But let me not get too much off topic, but it kind of lets me reminisce. Like I said, history repeats itself. The spirit stays the same. Okay, so this natural opposition spirit is always prevalent. Okay, so continue reading.
Khan, Numbers chapter 20 and verse 18. And Edom said unto him, Thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword.
So he already threatening with the sword. You know what I mean? You ain't coming through my hood. You know, you ain't coming through my neighborhood, or you gonna get chopped up. You know what I mean? Right? And we already know a lot of stories and instances of brothers walking through the wrong hood and they wind up getting hurt, right?
Khan, yeah, they still have that spirit to this day.
Yeah, I mean, look at Zimmerman versus Brown, right?
Khan.
So I mean, you know, I don't want to get into the politics of it right now, right? So just
right.
know that this is happening, and it's always happening. You get caught up in the wrong hood, you know, and that's just New York, or that I'm speaking from my perspective. You know what I mean? And all praises that I live in a place now that's dominated by our people, but there's places, man. I hate to be caught up in the wrong hood in Alabama. I hate to be caught up in the wrong hood in Mississippi or in Louisiana. You know what I mean? There's places that if we get caught in the wrong spot, bad things are going to happen through this natural hatred spirit that's opposing to our people. Okay? Or I won't say our people. You know what? For this lesson's sake, I'm not going to include neither one side or the other. I'm going to let you draw the conclusion of who goes through these tug of wars, right? Who's the two nations that we're speaking of here, right? Okay, so keep that always prevalent in your mind as we go. So what we like to do here is we like to paint the picture, right? And so we paint the picture through the words of the scriptures, and normally sometimes I give you the conclusions, but sometimes you know from what I'm getting from the feedback and all the I'm not even gonna give you the conclusion. I'm gonna let you draw your own conclusions from thus saith the word. All right, not from my mouth. I'm just kind of painting the picture for you according to the words. Right? Okay, and bring on nine. Let me see if that's it for that. No, we're going through 21. Go ahead, 19.
Numbers chapter 20, verse 19. And the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet.
Okay, and here's this people always groveling to the master. Okay, here the master of the land, this being Esau, and this people here, the Israelites. I'll say that much: the Esau and Jacob, right, or Edom and Israel, right? I'll go as much as to say that, right? I dare not say that it's us, or I dare not say it's you, right? But I'll say as much as that. Here goes this nation groveling to the other nation. Come on, man. After the fact he told you no, you still come on, man. Don't worry about it, man. Please let us through, man. If you let us through, and even if my cattle, if my dogs, whatever, drink from your water, man, I'm gonna pay you. All right. But let's see what's the outcome of that. 20.
Numbers chapter 20, verse 20. And he said, thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. Okay,
so now here comes the whole clan, no pun intended. You come through here and you're gonna get your ass whooped. Pretty much, right? It was an emphatic no. Take your crybaby ass somewhere else, right? That's the gist I'm getting of it, right? If we're gonna break it down in a language that we can understand here in the streets, man, or in a more urban type mentality, this is what this cat is saying. Man, bump you. You ain't coming through here. And if you come through here, you're going to get stomped on. All right? 21.
Verse 21. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border. Wherefore Israel turned away from him.
And they had no choice, bro. Let's just bounce because these haters are about to do us something if we go through. So he had to go a different way. But do you see the nuances of what's going on here? I'm going to bring you another example in Deuteronomy, the 2nd chapter. Go to that.
All right. Well, because verse 2
as time progresses, you can control, but so much. If people like I said, right? There was a point in time where we couldn't go rent apartments in the nice part of town. We couldn't go to the hood to their hood and live there if it wasn't for at least a progressive group of us migrating that way. And now, there's more of us, so you can't really kind of stop it. You're still gonna beat our ass from time to time, but you're gonna let it happen because now you can't control it as much. So this is what I get from Deuteronomy 2, and let's start at 3.
Khan. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 2 and verse 3. Ye have come past this mountain long enough. Turn you northward.
Like, you keep You keep coming around here, man. Or you need to turn northward. Like stop coming up up in our hood. I get it.
Verse 4. And command thou the people, saying, Ye are to pass through the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir, and they shall be afraid of you. Take ye good heed unto yourselves, therefore.
All right. So the Most High is telling them that you're gonna go to Mount Seir. Okay, you're gonna take your people through there. All right, but be careful. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Meddle not with them, for I will not give you of their land, no, not so much as a foot breadth, because I have given Mount Seir unto Esau for a possession.
So look at how the Most High is, man. I don't know why people think that the Most High changes his ways, right? Malachi is clear. He changes not. Okay. Isaiah is clear. He does not. His word doesn't come back to him void. Okay. So where is it that people get that that things can change? The Most High gave this place. He branded this place to them. Mount Seir. This is Edom. This is your possession. So whether he's for the people or not for the people, if he gives you something, if he makes a contract, a promise, or something with you, understand. Okay? So he's saying, just go through peacefully, and just keep it pushing. Do not disturb these people. This is the land that I gave them. Why? Because again, I said this name of this mount is branded to them. Okay, so even through the volume of the word, you're going to see that Seir is always going to be synonymous with them. So how he can give this land to anyone else when this is going to be synonymous to them, as well as Zion is synonymous to Israel. Okay, so he will not give Zion to anyone else. Okay, the New Jerusalem should not be possessed by anyone else when he ushers in the kingdom, because this is promised to Zion, to Jacob, to Israel. Okay, so that's going to stay a given as well. Okay, all right. Did we get through all that? I said we were going to go through 6. Was that 6 yet?
No, we need to hit verse 6 now.
Okay, hit it.
All right. Then Deuteronomy Chapter 2 and verse 6. Ye shall buy meat of them for money, that ye may eat, and ye shall also buy water of them for money, that ye may drink.
Okay, so this is what's always been in Esau's best interest. You know what? He may not like you, but he surely will take your money, and he surely will merchant with you. You know what I mean? Because of course, money makes his world go round, right? So I'm going to give you an example of that in Luke 2 and 1.
Calm. This is the book of St. Luke, chapter 2 and verse 1. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed.
Mm-hmm. There went a decree. So now, hey, we just found a new hustle. If anybody want to come through our land, anybody that we possess, anybody that we dominate, we're going to invent this thing called tax. So we're going to tax you, right? And that's prevalent today, right? So hold on.
Khan, everything we buy in this damn wicked ass Babylon, they be taxing.
Everything.
Whether it's land, whether it's a driver's license, whether it's an education, whether it's a Snickers bar, anything you buy in this wicked place, they tax you for it.
Right. Hold on. Okay, so yeah. So this is something that they brought into play. I'm not saying that it's the first tax. I believe that the Egyptians would dabble in taxing and in their merchant. But you know what? Esau picked up that game. You know what I mean? And started saying, "Hey, we're going to not only tax the people around us, we're going to try to tax the world." Okay, and in some instances, it actually accomplished that in the Roman Empire all the way to the here and now, because until the downfall, oh man, like I said, I don't want to give it away, but you have to understand that the powers that be at some point have taxed the entire planet in some form or other. Now, empires no empire lasts forever, and every empire has its downfall. And if you could see the things that are happening around you, you can see that a certain empire is starting to fall. Because I'm going to give you an example of taxing the whole entire world. Here, well, I'm going to have to give this little tidbit away, right? There was something that was called the petrodollar, which is now not even being respected. But at one point, when you wanted to buy oil, crude oil, even from the Saudis, right, you had to convert your money to the American dollar for you in order to buy that crude oil. So it was called the petrodollar. That's how it functioned. If you didn't do it in dollars, that's the only way you was going to get it, right? But now the Saudis, in plain disrespect to the current empire in play, they don't even want to sell. They're not even picking up the phone to sell this nation any oil. And now they're saying, you know what? Bump it. We're taking the ruby. We're taking the yen. We're taking the whatever form of currencies the other nations are wielding in, because they are already starting to destroy us, destroy this wicked nation economically. So it's not that important to them no more. So this is how you can start seeing the downfall of just look at the signs, look at the world that around you, look at the things that are happening around you. These things were given to us as signs, but we're not linking them up spiritually to what's happening in the spirit of men. Okay? All right. So let's get to let's read Hebrews 12 and 16. This is what's happening. We're not paying attention. We're not paying attention to what's happening around. And correlating it to these scriptures. Again, we're not correlating it into, we go with the dogmas given to us, right? That all men are created equal. But the Bible doesn't suggest that. So you got to see how the Most High divides men and their spirits, and there's a core. Well, this I can say, the core of who he considers the prevalent man in the world is Israel. Okay, I'm not saying I'm Israel. I'm not saying who's the enemy opposing, because I get to they're even accusing us that we're not the Israelites, right? But let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. There's gonna be a method, a process that we're gonna process this and see who could it possibly be, right? Are you there at Hebrews 12 and 16?
Come on.
Bring it out.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Listen carefully to what the word is saying. Okay, listen carefully to what the word is saying. It's calling this particular nation vile. Like they, who's more profane than them? Who can be at the top of worst people on the planet that for even a meal he gave up his birthright? What would have been included in his birthright? The promises, the covenants, the giving of the kingdom, right? So we know that Esau is Edom, right? And we know Jacob is Israel. I know this was not part of it, but I don't know how many of you opposers actually read Romans 9 and 4, and how do you get around it is beyond me. But do me a favor, read Romans 9 and 4.
Khan.
Because this is what Esau gave up.
I'm going to start off at verse 3. This is the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Yahushua for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
Not spiritual Israel, my brethren according to the flesh. Now here is Paul talking about his brethren according to the flesh, not the so-called Gentiles that people who think they're Gentiles, or people that want to say Paul went to the Gentiles. Let's talk common sense. Paul could not go to the heathen Gentile and preach another god to them that wasn't Apollo, Hercules, Zeus, Medusa, and all these other gods that these heathen nations had, without putting his life at risk. Okay? He was seeking out his people according to his flesh, his brethren according to the flesh, who he says in verse 4 are who?
Verse 4, who are Israelites?
He says, who are Israelites? My brethren according to the flesh are Israelites. He didn't say the Gentile nations. He said, my brethren according to the flesh are the Israelites. And what should befall the Israelites, since Esau gave it up for a piece of pottage, or for a bowl of pottage? Go ahead.
To whom pertaineth the adoption,
but it pertains
and the glory.
To them. Hold on. It pertains to them. So not that really Esau gave it up. It was destined to be this way. Okay? Remember, the Most High moves the hearts of men to do whatever they do. Okay? So he was pulling the strings on this. Okay? So it was destined to be this way. Okay? All right. Restart from the top again. I had to bring that up.
Khan. Romans chapter 9 and verse 4. Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of Yahweh, and the promises.
Do I have to even break the verse 4 down? Do I have to break down Romans 9 and 4? Is that not clear cut? I don't know how to give you another explanation. I don't know how to dumb it down for you anymore. The Israelites was this covenant given to. Okay? This is the covenant. Everything that he explained in that verse is the covenant that he made with these people, the Israelites. Okay? But there are more verses that clearly explains this. But again, I don't know where other people go south or left on this. Okay? All right. So let's go back to we read Hebrew 16. So we said who is more profane than this person, right? This person is so whack. This person, I'm using old school slang today, man. But this person is so like worthless that he gave up all that for a bowl of bloody stew. Okay, all right. Read Job 9:24 because this is where even Job is telling you, guess who? Okay.
Khan, you know what, real quick, I just want to bring out verse 17 in Hebrews because it says something very important what we were just reading.
Bring it out because you're there. You're examining what you're reading. I'm just breaking it down. So if the Spirit led you to take focus on something, that's what you're here for, brother. We the dynamic duo that way, bro. We work in one accord. We're one here. Go ahead.
Khan, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 17. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears.
You know what? I'm glad you brought it out because I don't know if I put it in my notes. I was supposed to bring it even one before and one after on that. That's a good pickup. He sought it with tears after he realized what he had done.
Khan, and because of that, that's why he's got that perpetual hatred for us, because of the fact that he found no repentance with the Most High.
Because now he's gonna hate on us. So if he can't, it's the opposite of beat him, join him. Since you can't beat him, you can't join him. Since you can't beat him and you can't join him, what's left is to hate him. Right?
Khan.
So now we can bring out that Job 9:24.
Khan. This is the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Hold that. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. That means prior to the promises, prior to Yahushua, who you guys ignorantly call Jesus, prior to the ushering of the Hamashiach, prior to the ushering of the king that's going to set all this straight, first burn it down. Because let me tell you something, that's what he meant, that there was going to be not a stone that you're not going to find unturned, right? Because it's all got to come tumbling down. It's all got to come crashing down. That's why his people have to go to the wilderness. You know, what does a wilderness mean? A wilderness means that it's like, it's raw. It's like there's nothing there. It's just it's just a wilderness. Okay, so there's no development there, nothing. So basically, in that particular place, you don't really gotta burn or tumble or break or have the buildings come crashing down. Okay, because there's nothing there. So he's not gonna hurt the land there because it's undeveloped. You know what I mean? That's why they need to go to that particular place that he's going to set as the wilderness to put his people there while he puts the smackdown on everything else. Okay? So, till that time happens, till the time that he comes and puts the smackdown on everything else, the earth is given to the wicked. Right? The wicked is in rulership now. Okay? But that's all part of the plan, right? Because the wicked of our people, and also this what it means that the 1/3 had to go through the fire to be tried as gold, because we had, no matter the elect being part of his righteousness, they still got to go through the curses. Okay, this is just the procedure. Okay, so because the curses are given to us as a sign. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean that. The curses are given to the Israelites as a sign, okay? So that they could know who they would be in the latter times. So that they can relate to these curses and say, wait a minute, this is the only people that's going through this. This is the only people that are going through this on a grand scale. Because let's get this food for thought out there. The Most High is the greatest power of the universe. Everything he does is grand. So Egypt was a grand captivity. Babylon was a grand captivity. Roman conquest was the sacking of Jerusalem was a grand captivity. The Syrian captivity was a grand captivity. All right, so now you're going to tell me he did all these grand events to put his people through the mill, and then all of a sudden, man, I'm really going ghetto today. All of a sudden, now we want to downplay what is the transatlantic slave trade, downplay what was the conquest, right? For the natives and the indigenous people of the land that were inhabiting here in the Americas, right? Now we want to downplay that and try to call something a little less grand or something remote, that's where God was making the example. Come on. If you're not thinking about that, all right, God's going to make the example in the biggest, grandest platform ever so that these signs could be related to amongst his people. What kind of a God that throughout the scriptures, he's saying, I am the God of Israel. I'm the God of Israel. You're my people. I love you. You're greater than anybody else. The promises are to you. I've held you more than any. I've acknowledged you other than the other families of the world. Right? And he's gonna let those people flapping in the wind without the proper sign. That we're going to have to go into intricate books and science and dig deep like certain people with no swag try to dig as deep as it could to try to find some remote version of what should have happened or what he excuse me, I didn't mean he. I wasn't talking about anybody in particular. I was talking about people with no swag, right? Because the soul of the earth are the Israelites. They're the ones with all the swag. Okay? All right, so let me not allude to anything. Let me not, God forbid I make this about anybody in particular. But we know the people that go out there looking for excuses. Say it ain't so. Brother Law Sheep Yaban, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, right? Because that's what the problem lies with these other nations and the people that are suffering Stockholm syndrome that want to follow after these other nations. You want to pity somebody that never pitied you. We're bringing out the spirit nature of this person that's literally, without a shadow of doubt, and we can see that prevalent today, have no compunction about slaying you. But you want to save them for some reason, right? And I said I was going to try to keep this short, so I'm going to keep my rants to a minimum because we're a little bit over an hour. At least let's try to keep this an hour and a half show so that at least somebody can get some benefit and the ADD doesn't kick in. All right? So
Aqua, were you going to explain who the wicked was in Job 9:24?
Bring it up, Ak, if you got it.
Yeah. Khan. So it says, Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Who is
so
this?
The Most High is proposing a question here. Who is this wicked hand that have covered the judges thereof?
God.
So let's see what the Bible has to say about who the wicked is.
Or then we could go to who's the judges. So who's the face that they're covering up? Who are they covering up? Right?
God, this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 18. Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment.
Just judgment. Go ahead.
So those are the judges, the Israelites.
Right.
Now let's see who the wicked is according to the scriptures. Let's go to Malachi. Malachi 1 and 4. Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
Indignation forever. This is not coming off these people. So how is it that the nation of the people that we're talking about could have repentance, forgiveness of their sins or anything, when the Most High that changes not, is going to hate them forever? Okay?
And they're the border of wickedness. That's who the earth was given to. The border of wickedness, which is Edom.
Just like he chose the righteous, he chose the wicked. Okay? And he chose people for honor and he chose people for destruction. Get me that in Romans 9 and I believe 26, the potter.
Khan, I'm going to hit verse 11. I'm going to hit verse 11 first.
Yeah.
All right.
Hated Esau. Right. Go ahead.
Khan, this is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 11. For the children be not yet born, neither having done any good or evil.
There it goes.
That the purpose of Yahweh.
I knew it would come out in the spirit.
Yeah.
It came out right on time. Bring it out again. Sorry about that, Salaki. I just wanted to make that point. We're not working. We're not working in the concepts of our mind. We're working through the spirit, and you can see how things flow even between me and my brother, who are working in one accord under the spirit for the glory and the honor of our God and our King. Okay, and our people. Oh, excuse me. No, I didn't say that. Go ahead. I retract that.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 11. For the children be not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of Yahweh, according to election, might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth.
Listen to this is a cold verse, because I need you to figure out. I don't need you to figure out. I need you to explain how you can get around this verse. The purpose of his will by election. Okay, that means I choose to do it this way. Who's going to change it? I posed this last week, and not last week, 2 days ago, right? I posed this 2 days ago. By what authority could anyone choose to change what the Most High chose to do? Please. I haven't even given a numerical figure yet as to the type of amount of check that I would write if you can prove that someone could change what the Most High chose to do. How do you change the unchangeable? Okay?
Con, I got a precept for that, Doc. This is the
Bring
book of
it, bring it.
Isaiah, chapter 4.
This is starting to warm up because this is not only are we proving all things, we're proving all things according to this word, and we're proving that this belongs to the elect by choice of the Most High. Okay? Yeah.
Con. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it.
In whatever the Most High pleases. Do you understand? It was his pleasure to do this way. He's the author of all this. This is the way he wrote it, and this is the way it shall be done, right? As it is written. Okay? All right.
Con.
Beautiful, beautiful. That was cold right there, man. And after you guys hearing those verses, or at least from like 10 minutes ago in this lesson, and you heard that, and you're still in denial, I don't know how people with no swag can actually twist that around to actually say something else. Okay? I only repeated what the word said. Maybe paraphrased it, but basically what the word says. Like I could just read it, and anybody with common sense can see, whoa, this is how the Most High wanted it, and he elected, and he chose to his good pleasure. Okay? Come on. All right, man. Let's continue, man. That's fire. That's real good fire right there. And so, all right. So who is he? This is the type of person he is. Give me Isaiah. Since you're right there in Isaiah, go to 5 and 20. This is the type of person he is.
Con. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 5 and verse 20. Mm-hmm. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
This is This is the type of person that goes around doing his wickedness, and he does it for the greater good, right? No matter you have collateral damage, you done killed X amount of babies, you done blew up a whole region of people and their land, you done stole, robbed, and pillaged everything, but you did it for the greater good. You call it good, but you know it's wicked. Or you do wickedness, and or vice versa, you do things in the name of good, and they're still wicked. Either or. This is what this is trying to say. Vice versa. Finish it out, because that's the breakdown for that. Call the evil good.
Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
And the good for evil is calling God's righteous people bad, imprisoning them to the 70 percentile populace of the prisons here in America, right? Still not saying who these people are, but you got to think about, because the word says this, right? That these people are going to fill the prison cells, right? So who are these people? Okay, guess who? All right, we're going to continue with guess who. All right, let's go to Zechariah 11 and 5 to precept that evil and good. Because these people really, I think the powers that be, they know they're wicked as hell. They know they're Esau. The powers that be know who the real Israelites are. And like I said, since they can't join them, They can't beat them. They can't join them. So what was left is to hate them and destroy them as a nation if they could, right? So you know what? We're going out. We're going to take as much as them with us, right? Go ahead.
Khan, this is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Right? So they just slay them away, and they don't even they don't consider themselves guilty. They're not gonna suddenly stop killing us. Oh, excuse me, not us. I'm talking about Esau and Jacob. I mean, we're not dying at high amounts of people that are dying in the streets by unjustly, right? Or just being shot down at random. We're not those people. Could we be? You know what I mean? But I'm talking about how Esau would just slay Israel and not hold themselves accountable. You know what I mean? So I mean, did the Roman Empire hold themselves accountable for ransacking Jerusalem? Did the Greeks? Did any of our captors? Did they ever hold themselves accountable? No. They just would continue slaying us if they had the chance. Slaying them if they had the chance. All right. Give me Ezekiel 36, 3 and 5. 3 through 5.
Khan. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and verse 3. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people.
Yeah, so the Israelites, I'm not saying the so-called today Israelites or the ones that are calling themselves Israelites. I wonder why they would be doing that if they weren't correlating this to the curses. And these are the curses that they're going to be swallowed up on every side. What kind of people are swallowed up on every side? Wherever they go, there's somebody's boy, there's somebody's slave. You know, even the NBA players, the NFL draft, that's just another version of slavery. Of course, the payment has gone up, but all the things that these people have to do to get paid, and they better follow the guidelines and they better follow the rules, because if you got any martyr or any rebellious slave, they make an example of them. Didn't they make an example of Colin Kaepernick? You know, this brother, I think he's trying out soon to try to play for the Raiders, and I hope he gets the job. You know what I mean? Just to kind of justify what they did for him, they took him out of his payroll, out of his spotlight. He was one of the most promising NFL quarterbacks 5 years ago. When my boy and I was talking about sports, man, I was like, man, 2-3 years ago. No, he said, bro, it's been 5 years. 5 years they took this brother out of commission for taking a knee and putting up a fist. They took Kyrie Irving pretty much out of contention almost the whole season, just because he didn't want to conform. Not to say any words of what he did or not. Y'all know what he did. Okay? And so many other examples of people that are technically, even billionaires like Kanye West are deemed out of his freaking skull, right? They just call him crazy just to play him down. So even his billions can't get him a certain amount of dignity and respect, you know? Oh, but we're not talking about these people, right? Let's continue, brothers. We're talking about the Israelites, right? So we're talking about the Israelites. Did you keep going in the Ezekiel? We're going to go through 5.
Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 4. Hold on, Salak. Salak. All right. Ezekiel 36 and 4. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Thus saith the Lord Yahweh to the mountains and to the hills and to the rivers and to the valleys and to the desolate wastes and to the cities that are forsaken, which become a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about.
These people, I almost slipped up again. These people are the prey to the heathen. I mean, which people are mostly preyed upon? Okay? Keep thinking about it. Guess who? All right, continue.
Verse 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea.
Yeah, I'm hot. I'm hot with these people. By the way, Idumea is another name for Edom, because it's another place they resided. Okay, so they also likened to Idumea as well. So
that's just a Greek that's just a Greek version of their name, Mark. It's the same thing as Edom.
Right. Okay. So Khan, the water for that. And so this is again just another version of their name, as I was saying, another identifier to who the Edomites are. And so when you come up on Idumea, you know that it's speaking about Edom. But the Most High is hot with these people in the fire of his jealousy. Why is he jealous? Because these people are touching the apple of his eye. These people are pounding out his people. Now, of course, it's by his will, but at the same time, this is how I'll break that down to you. Did you ever feel, and this always, I kind of relate to parents, because most of us that are in this truth should be grown already, or the majority of us. I know there's some that don't have kids, but even if you had kids, or even if you're a kid, or if you were someone's kid, you know that this had to happen. If you had to catch a spanking for something you did wrong, or I have to spank my children for something that they did wrong, I have to do it. I gotta spank them. But it doesn't mean I'm going to like it. It doesn't mean I'm going to feel remorse for doing it. But it got to be done. You know what I mean? So that's how you call it. It's his will. We needed that spanking, but he doesn't like the methods by the way we had to get spanked, because the Edomite, again, am I saying me? Am I saying us? The Israelites, the way the Israelites had to get spanked, because Edom was the switch in which he created to spank them. I always say the chancleta, but this is an English lesson, and y'all might not know what the chancleta is. I mean, nowadays, chancletas look like this, right? Right? Even though this is fat and everything, but they're squishy. They're squishy. You know what I mean? My kids get hit by this, and man, it's just gonna bounce off. But the kind of chancleta that my grandma had or my mama had was this thick piece of leather and hard rubber, bro, that would come at you with force enough to give you a concussion. All right, so that's the chancleta. When us Latinos speak about the chancleta, we fear that type of chancleta. All right, but getting back to it, so Edom is that chancleta that the Most High uses and created it. We have to go back to Romans to demonstrate that, because they're gonna, people that might be catching on or listening to what this guy's talking about, slippers, chancleta, switches. All right, I'm gonna tell you that he created these people to punish the other. Okay, but he also created them to have a wrath against them for that matter. So, like, how can I say, man? I just spanked my kid with something, man, but I'm so mad that I had to spank him with it. I just tossed the object in which I utilized to spank them with. You know what? Can is that painting a better picture for you? Go to that Romans, because we broke down. We was gonna break down that Romans because we already got a little bit past of his will, his pleasure, right? Go back to where you left off. This was his pleasure, and jump down to. I'll tell you what it jumped down to. Hold on, let me get there with you.
Did you want me to finish off there? Ezekiel 36 and 5.
Yeah, let's hold that. Let's go back there, because since we didn't tackle it, I want to tackle it right now, so it doesn't get too far from what we was bringing out previously, and hopefully we have intelligent people that are gonna watch this and catch on in every aspect. So we already explained that this is God's will. This is God's will, and I'm back at that explaining, because he's utilizing these people to punish the other, right? Okay, because when you get, what was Ezekiel saying? You have put us in the hands and made us desolate by the hands of the heathen. Who is the heathen, right? So there's a people that are going to be honored, and there's a people that are not partakers, right? When you think of the heathen, that's just people that are not in line with God's will. Okay, so let's go to you have read 11, right?
Con.
So let's go to okay. Let's go from 19.
Con. Romans 9 verse 19.
Actually, you know what? You read 11, but look at how 12 correlates to what we read in the beginning with Genesis. Read 12.
Verse 12, Romans 9 verse 12, and it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger.
So now he's referencing this to the two nations again. Paul is referencing this according to Genesis and Esau and Jacob. And then read 13. What does the Most High feel about it?
Romans 9:13.
That's
as it is written.
That Paul was being inspired by the Most High, right? When he wrote down his letters, right? Because you guys run to Paul a lot to try to justify these things. So how are you going to explain that Paul is contradicting himself, or in this moment he's not working in the spirit? Peep this.
Romans 9:13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved.
It is written. So Paul is going to the prophets of old. So he's quoting the prophets of old. Paul was a scholar. All right. Paul knew what he was doing and what he was saying. All right. Go ahead. As it is written.
Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
All right. Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Okay. So the Most High loves Jacob, hates Esau. Where did he read that from? If you want to get the precept for that, so you can see, I think it's one.
It's the book of Malachi. It's the book of Malachi, chapter 1, and verse 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Well, I'm going to start off at verse 1. Malachi 1 and 1.
Yeah.
The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by
To
Malachi.
To who? To Israel, right?
To Israel.
Okay, cool.
Con. Verse 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob. And verse 3. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
So Paul is corroborating the scriptures in Malachi. So he's agreeing with the prophet Malachi. So if we're going to denounce Malachi, then we're going to have to denounce Paul as well. And then if we're starting to denounce prophets, then we're not even following as Christ says, right? Because he said he wasn't here. He didn't come to destroy the prophets or the law. Okay, so then at that point, you should just chuck the Bible. I mean, don't even have it in your possession. Chuck it in the trash and go about your life, right? Because if you're going to be a believer of these scriptures, then we got to believe the whole word. As I heard someone say, I believe the whole word. And these are things that you're going to have to wrestle with, and certain people are going to try to take away or add or put a spin on things that speak clearly. Okay, how can I change? He loves Jacob and hates Esau. How can I say that any different? Okay, but all right. So let's continue. All right. So then, all right, because it's being said that. Let's just continue through 14. Go to 14. Go ahead.
Verse 14. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with Yahweh? God forbid.
So is this an unrighteousness? Remember, he's doing everything to his pleasure. So whatever he pleases to do should be righteous to the people that follow him. Okay, it should be just. He's doing his just will. Okay, he created something for a purpose, and he created something else for another purpose, or one nation for a purpose and another nation for a purpose. We're going to jump down to let's start from 19. Let's jump down to 19 to give an explanation that it's his will.
Romans 9. Romans 9. Yeah. Romans 9:19. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will?
Who can resist his will? Can you resist his will? If he puts something in your heart and he wants to make you do it, can you actually say, no, God, I can't do it? Or you think you have your own will or power to resist the will of God? If he puts it in, man, it may sound harsh, but it is his will for a man. You know what? I don't even want to say, because people are going to try to call me a heretic, right? But they call Paul a heretic. But let's go to Isaiah to prove that. I believe what? Isaiah 44, 45. I create light, I create darkness.
Con. Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
I, the Lord, do all these things. So you have to understand, God, the Lord of the universe, God of the universe, the Most High is in control. So he has to call all the shots, good and evil. I mean, was it not an evil that the whole entire planet had to drown in a flood and only save 8 people? That was an evil that had to befall the wicked people of that land. All right, it was something that just had to go, but it wasn't from the right side. It had to be done by the left side angels that are controlled by Satan. Yes, even Satan has cannot go against the will of the Most High. That's clear in Job. All right, that's clear with Hamashiach when he encounters Satan. So you know what I mean. He has to fall back. He has to. Look. That's his job. That's his job. That's the job that the Most High created him for. And this is also the people that the Most High created for. All right? So continue through 19. So we can see that this is his pleasure. Okay?
Verse 20, Romans 9:20. Nay, but O man, who art thou that repliest against Yahweh? Shall the thing
you can even reply against Yahweh, bro. You don't have no say in this. Go ahead.
Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus?
So can if you create something, can that creation come back to you and say, why did you create me? No, I created you. You just fall back. This is what I created you for. This is my pleasure. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Hath not the potter power over the clay?
So here's the parable for it. Okay. Have not the potter power over the clay. The clay doesn't manipulate the potter. The potter molds the clay. Go ahead.
Of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor?
The same lump is the twin brothers in her womb, in Rebecca's room. So out of two not identical fraternal twins, I created one pot for honor and one for dishonor. Go ahead.
And that's it.
Okay.
Oh, verse 22.
Yeah.
I'll read verse 22.
22.
What if Yahweh, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction?
Again, so I created these vessels. I created this one particular vessel, and I ate, and I had to deal with that vessel's crap, right? But it's all because of my purpose, because it was fitted for destruction. Okay, so the intention was to do away with it anyway. Okay, so no matter what manifested in their spirit, there was going to be an end to it, and we're going to get to that soon. All right, so now let's go back to Ezekiel, because this is all tying in. So I'm glad that we went that route a little bit. And let's you was at verse 4 or at 5?
Ezekiel 36 and verse 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy, which I have spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession, with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey.
So whatever land, so remember the land that was promised to his people, these people ransacked it and took it over with joy and gladness. They didn't care. They destroyed everything in their path, and that spirit continues today. Because whatever this form of spirit people or this form of people touches, it comes crashing down. It becomes wicked. It becomes
Khan, and the question that has to be asked by the viewers is, who is in the land right now that's called Israel today? Who is in that land? Because those are the Idumeans or the Edomites, according to the Bible.
I think I got some precepts coming for that, because I was going to make that point, but that's a good point, and we're going to make it again soon, because it's been taken over, and so until something needs to happen, I don't want to give it away. We got that coming up. Khan, you're right on track with me, Ak. Don't worry about it. We in this together. Okay, so let's but I'm progressively getting there. We're starting with now we're going to show how the conquest came about and how the curses fit. So we're going to go to Deuteronomy 28 to to guess who these curses kind of fit. Okay? Not kind of fit. Who they gotta fit somebody. Start at 46.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Hold that. See, like I said, the Most High wasn't going to take his beloved people, the people he purposed, the people whose pleasure he takes in, and leave them flapping in the wind. He gave them a sign. Okay? So these clues here in these curses have to fit a certain people group throughout their generations, meaning today. So I need you to guess who these curses fit. Okay? So continue.
Which one do you want me to hit?
Just go to the next one.
Verse 47, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things.
Okay, so I didn't want to go into another lesson, but I'll kind of briefly break it down. 2/3 of the people of his people have to be cut off because they won't abide, but they weren't built for it, right? Like I said, the Most High elected, he chose, right? We said by his election, right? And there's other verses that we can go to that. Let's go to Ephesians 1 and 4 real quick. Read that one out real quick, just so that the people know that I'm not just flapping my own doctrine here. Okay, if you really read this word, you're going to understand. Okay, or I don't know, because then also the Most High says for some it's given the mysteries of His word, and for some it's just parables. So you might just want to stay in your fairy tale mindset of this word, right? You want it to be about little fairies with wings and keep it Disneyland in your mind. All right? Okay.
Ephesians chapter 1 verse.
I say Disneyland. Okay, but it's almost the same thing. I don't want to get no copyright issues or whatever. Again, this is all for everybody's edification. So we're just teaching you. So we come up with certain phrases. All right, come on. Go ahead.
Ephesians chapter 1 verse 4. According as he hath chosen us in him.
Okay, according to he had chosen us. Again, he is choosing. Okay, go ahead.
According as he had chosen us in him before the foundation of the world.
From the beginning, go ahead.
That we should be holy and without blame before him in love.
All right, so these people are going to be holy, separate. Holy means separate. They're going to be separate from the rest, okay? So this is like listen, I say this a lot, and maybe you've heard me say this before. If you've been on my channel, and if you have, I'm gonna say it again so you understand, okay? When we tell you the Noah's Ark story, right? Or we was to break down the Noah's Ark story, right? It simply breaks down to he saved 8 people and destroyed the rest of the people. And you guys don't have a problem with that. But if I tell you that he chose from those 8 people, he chose how the vine would grow, right? And he would keep a certain group walking or growing within that vine, right? Then you got a problem with it being exclusive to a certain people. But it was from the day that he destroyed everyone else. So I mean, you don't got a problem with Noah's Ark, but you got a problem with the Most High saving humanity through 1/3 of Israel. Okay, that's kind of the short breakdown. But we can go. I've done lessons on this, plenty. So, okay, so we're back at the curses, right? So, just read out a couple of curses that pertain, and then get to the nitty gritty in 49.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in
Okay.
want of all things.
Guess
And
who?
he shall put
Guess who? Guess who? Right? Finish that out. And he shall put what?
and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Guess who? Guess who? What kind of people have been destroyed by another people to the utmost? Okay? All right. Yoke of iron should ring bells. People destroyed in their minds, people following false doctrines, to include the doctrine that they think is infallible in Christianity, because you know what Christ says, let no man deceive you. But what you don't understand, that deception already came. I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Right, when I was a Christian, right, and I still am the quintessential Christian, because I do follow Christ in all his ways. Okay, but I don't follow the doctrines of men. Okay, again, but I was when I was in Christianity. So what I did was, I wouldn't go against anything that my pastor said, because my pastor said it. He's the pastor. He's the shepherd, right? So I would say anything outside of what was being said in this church is blasphemy. Is deception. Is the wolves. Is the wolves. I can't listen to the wolves. But lo and behold, the Most High was preparing me to understand the truth, and to weigh it out, and to reason the scriptures. And that's the problem today. Our people, or the Israelites, are not reasoning with the instructions. Okay? They're not reasoning the word. Okay? They're just going by what another man says, instead of look at the precepts and the things that we pull to examine. These are the things that are not being taught at church. And when I started seeing this and weighing it out, I was like, why isn't that the church is not bringing these things out? Is it one, they can't explain it? Two, they're not anointed enough to understand it? Three, the Most High is not giving them the vision, or a combination of all those things, right? Because most pastors, and Jeremiah says, woe to the pastors that scattered my sheep. So they have to give accountability for what they're teaching. But I believe that most pastors, especially pastors of what's deemed the lesser ethnicity, if we may say that, okay? That might not be politically correct in these days. But they may be ignorant to what they're actually doing. But since they're so consumed by the business end of it, that even if they were to learn the truth, I don't think they would switch it up in fear of losing revenue. Okay? And as far as the other hierarchy of people, because we're talking about people groups, right? A righteous people and a heathenistic people, right? And let's say other people that are handling this word with no anointing, because they don't have the anointing of the word, because they're not the people that the Most High wrote this for and allowed this to be written for and to, so they can't be manipulating something that's not even theirs, but they manipulate it and add to it or spin it because they want an inclusion, because they still seeking it out with tears, because they already know that they're the wicked and are going to go down. So they want to find every reason not to. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Right? because they're still seeking it out with tears, as Esau did, right? Okay, so let's just jump to 49.
Hey,
That
I
was
just want to let
48.
you know real quick, my phone's about to die, so if I exit out, it's because my phone's dead, all right?
Man, how much percentage you got? Because you can't click on
2%.
you can't put it on the charger. We're not seeing your face. All I need is your voice.
Nah, man, because I got to position it a certain way and it won't work. All right. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to call some reinforcements just in case that happens. Okay, so again, guess who? He sent another nation as swift as the eagle flieth. Just to get quick on this, the eagle is representative of people in power. Rome used it. They came as swift as the eagle flieth, ransacked Jerusalem. They came in as another version of people in conquest, right? In the Spaniard and in the Portuguese and all the others that had their hand in slavery and in conquest, okay? And now they stand as the great bald eagle in this country, right? Those are the people in power, and those are the people of conquest as well, right? The conquerors, okay? Read quickly Psalms 83 and 2 and 5. I'm going to go mute and see if you can get that out. No, oh, well, there it goes. So, Hank, if not, I'll do this solo. It don't matter to me. All praises to the Most High. All praises. So, we're going to finish this up. I'm going to go to Psalms 83 and 2 through 5. This is one that most brothers are familiar with, and also get my light on my word here. Okay, this is starting at 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they hate thee, and lifted up the head. They hate us, okay? And they lift up their head up high, right? They hold themselves not guilty, right? We've already been down this breakdown before. So they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against the hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? The hidden ones are the people that you may not consider the Israelites right now. The people that you are in denial who are the Israelites right now. But what we were reading in Deuteronomy 28, they're upon you for a sign. So these signs need to be applicable to these people so they can become unhidden. And this is starting to happen. Okay? Whoever these people may be. They have said, come and let us cut them off as being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So there's always been a conspiracy. There's always been a plot to not have these people be revealed, Okay, because like I told you, the powers that be, they understand who these people are, and they, like I said, the mentality is we can't beat them, we can't join them, so we're gonna hate them, and we're gonna just, if we're going out, we're gonna take as many of them with us, and that's how they come about inventing certain ways to kill us off, whether it be fabricated plagues or just straight gunning us down. Oh, excuse me, gunning those people down, or enslaving them and killing them all, interbreeding with them, whatever they may, genetically modifying their food, or just poisoning their mind with false doctrines. Okay, so to have them willingly break the the commandments of the Most High, but the real commandment keepers always keep the commandments, no matter what hurdle or mountain they need to climb. They are going to continue, as thus saith the Lord. Okay, in His instructions. Okay. All right. For they consult together. So these nations, this nation of people is consulting together with one consent. Their only consent is do away with these Israelites. Okay, that's what's in there. That's what's in their heart to do. Okay, do away with the Israelites. Okay, they are confederate to thee, and confederate means opposition. Okay, so they are the opposition to the Israelites. They're the Esau to the Jacob. Okay, all right. So we are going to push through. We just got a few more things to go through, and we're going to end. I mean, hey, man, I try to keep it short, man, but in the spirit, man, when things are going good, when the explanation is going good, I just believe that the elect is going to be engaged anyway. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who clicks off, who goes away, who's not watching, who's not participating, or who's not being edified. It's just that it's not built for them. It's not built for them to be edified. So the elect will get edified. The elect will stay engaged. The elect will know how to have spiritual discernment about what's good teaching and what's not, what's being edified, where they're getting enriched from. Okay? So with that being said, with the word Confederate, we think about the Confederate armies, the Union armies, the troops of these United States, the former troops. And look, check this out. This is in reference to the natives in Genesis 49 and 19. And I know that there's certain natives that don't want to make themselves part of the greatest people on earth. Why? I mean, what's the problem with that? How destroyed does a people have to be in their mind to not want to be backed by the greatest power of the universe, the God of gods, the God of everything that you know, the lands that you roam, the lands that you once possessed, you know? But understand that these curses befall you as well, okay? Or I'm saying they look like they befall you, okay? Let's not jump to conclusions, right? So 49 and 19 reads Gad. Gad being the Gadites, the tribe of Gad, right? Which we in our teachings understand as the culmination of all the native, so-called Native Americans, because they were the people that were inhabiting North America. Okay, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. So our prayers is that Gad gets out of this divide and conquer mindset and comes back as a whole nation of native indigenous people and realize that they're being backed by the Most High and are able to overcome the follies that were brought upon them through divide and conquer by the troops. Okay? All right. Luke 21 and 24. But this is the overcoming at the end, because this is all coming to an end. I would think that my Christian counterparts would agree that we're in the latter days. I at least give it that much, that you would agree that we're in the last days, and this is all coming tumbling down. If you just don't see the condition of America right now, you got to see that we're on the verge of war. We're on the verge of economical collapse. We're on the verge of food shortage, hunger, sicknesses, natural catastrophes. All kind of things that can go wrong are going wrong right now, as saith the word. Okay? But Luke 21 and 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. This has happened already. Guess who? All right. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down by down of the Gentiles. This has happened already and keeps re-happening. Another nation, another culture of people exercise their dominance over an area, ransack it, and take it over. And so, as my brother said, and I said that it was coming out. He said the promised land is already inhabited by the heathen. It is already trodden down of the Gentiles, because again, I'm going to re-say this: people with no swag, they come against the so-called Israelites to prove or disprove who they are or what they are. I haven't said anything to the effect, or I may have alluded to it, but the people that are there are not the original Israelites. This is easily debunked. Why don't you debunk that? Why don't you debunk and prove that the so-called Jewish, ISH being a suffix pertaining to, meaning something like, okay, but they are not. They claim and openly that they're converts, but this is nothing that you can convert to. I cannot convert to being another culture of what I am not, or another ethnicity. I can't convert to being a Chinaman. I can't convert to being just naming things that are not part of the lesson, so you don't think that I'm alluding to anybody in particular. But I can't convert into someone else. Okay, I can only be who I am. Right now, I don't know who I am, or I'm saying that I don't know who I am, for the sake of this guess who lesson, right? So I'm going to read that again. So this has only repeated itself where a nation of dominance has come and conquered and held captive another people, right? All right, and they shall fall by the sword, and they shall be led away captive. So even when they fell by the sword, even in the disbursement, even in the scattering, which this word speaks much about the scattering, or how the people got scattered, in their scattering, that was being led away into another captivity, upon another captivity, upon another captivity. This is just a hardcore punishment by the Most High. Okay? And Jerusalem shall be trodden down by the Gentiles, which it already is. The Gentiles are inhabiting this place until the times that the Gentiles be fulfilled. Meaning until the time that the Gentiles' time comes to an end. It's going to be fulfilled, right? When it be fulfilled, you did your job, and now that job is complete, right? Okay. Shalom. Good day. To the turquoise prince. Let me see. Ziyupili. Shalom. Okay. So until that time comes to an end. Okay, right? So let's go to another precept to bring us to that conclusion. Right? We're going to go to 2nd Ezra's. I'll be able to read it better. Don't think that I'm high speed because I got myself a note fold and everything. It's because this brother's getting old and I need the biggest screen possible to see the words. So I'm not flexing, all right? I'm not flexing. All right. Let me just get my... And Salakia, because I lost all my only reader that decided to participate today. I don't know what happened to the other Akim. And yeah, I'm calling you out. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, that's 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. So Esau is the end of the world. So meaning Esau's going to be the reason everything comes tumbling down. It needs to be. It's what he was designed for. He was designed for pure destruction, utter destruction. That's what he was designed for. And so he's going to be the end of everything you know. So why you follow this spiritual entity in this nation of people is beyond me. But he's going to be the end of everything you know and the end of you. Because, again, he's trying to take as much captives with him to his destruction that he can. So if you're still captivated by his smooth words, or if you're still captivated by the doctrines of men that they created, okay, then know that he's just pulling you into his utter destruction with him. Okay? And we're going to prove that this is now leaning towards America. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to read it to you. Of course, we know that the Bible doesn't say America. It wasn't written when there was a such place called America. But the Most High knew how to spiritually put it in words so that you can identify it. Those are the signs that will be upon us, and the signs that are in this book created by Israelites, for the Israelites to identify what the rock was cooking at this time, right? Smell what the rock was cooking. See, I'm not talking about the rock, the Israelite. Oh, well, I can't say that. The Rock Johnson, who he may be in his ethnicity, or what he may think he is in his ethnicity, or what we may identify him in his ethnicity. But I ain't talking about that rock. I'm talking about the rock of the Israelite salvation. I won't say of mine, I won't say of yours, of the Israelite salvation. That's clear. We've already been through a lot of precepts showing that the salvation is to the Israelites. In fact, I'm going to give you one that I'm going to give you two to prove that the salvation is to the Israelites, whoever they may be. Okay. Guess who? Guess who? I'll start at Matthew 1 and 21. Okay. And know that when this word was transliterated, right, there was translation of names that were not on par, right? So Hosea in one and Hosea in another, and Esai's and Isaiah, right? So just examples how as time goes by and it goes into the Greek, and there might be translations that go south. And sorry to say that the same happened with the name Jesus, right? Why is it that people with no swag can't explain this? Or doesn't have the big brain on Brad to at least bring out something as simple as that the J wasn't in effect in the time of 2,000 years ago? If it's only 400 years in effect, how could it be in effect in the Hebrew? When Christ was walking, his mama would have not called him Jesus. Okay, but for the content of the lesson, we're gonna go to Matthew 1 and 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name. We call him Yahushua, proper name, proper Paleo Hebrew name, okay, which would have been transliterated to Yeshua, which if we were going to call him Jesus, right, it would have been closer to call him Joshua, Yeshua, than use Jesus, right? So I don't know what they were trying to pay homage, hail Zeus, or whatever when they used Jesus, right? But Yahushua would have been the proper name, but for the context's sake. And he shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, and he shall save his people. Who are his people, right? He's going to save his people from their sins. He didn't say he was going to save the world, the entire planet. And yes, we can go into the John 3:16 breakdown. And he says, but he said the world, he said the world. We have to understand who's the world he was talking about. But it was always in reference to the Israelites. That's a whole nother lesson. John 3:16 breakdown has been done by the so-called Hebrew Israelites. Plenty. You can watch that breakdown by 1,000 camps. Okay, but now we'll go to Luke 1 and 68. Okay, and I'm gonna give you some more. What this is salvation. Okay, this is the literal salvation script. Okay, all right. Luke chapter 1, verse 68. Okay, I'll start at 68, 67. And his father Zacharias was filled with the Holy Ghost. So he's filled with the Holy Ghost. Now, you be careful what you do in your thoughts about the Holy Ghost, right? But it's saying that the Holy Ghost is inspiring him to prophesy and say. Okay? So this is inspired by the Most High that issues the Holy Ghost for understanding and prophecy and comforting, right? He is the comforter, right? So I'll read it again in 67, verse 167 of Luke. And his father Zacharias was filled with the Holy Ghost and prophesied, saying, well, he's prophesying by the Spirit of the Holy Ghost, blessed be the Lord God of Israel. Where? God of Israel. But this is prevalent throughout the whole Bible, right? For he hath visited and redeemed his people. He says he's the God of Israel and he's redeeming his people. Okay? And have raised up a horn of salvation for us. Who's the us? The Israelites. In the house of his servant David. Through the lineage of David. Okay? The house of David, if you're of the house of Israel, if you're the house of any forefather, you're of that house, right? So that is of your lineage, right? as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets. So this he spake through the mouth of all the prophets. So if you're going to exclude this, you're going to have to throw out all the prophets. And if you're going to do that, throw out the Bible. Okay? All right? Which have been since the world began. So he's always given his oracles throughout the beginning of time. Right? If you're going to speak as the oracles of God. The prophets were the oracles of God. Why would the Most High not bring back his prophets to lead us in these latter times? Think about that. All right. It's because if he brought them from the beginning and he's brought them up and he's brought them throughout, right? Hebrews said, he that had followed me in the regeneration, right? Hebrews or Matthew? Okay, he that's followed me in the regeneration, right? There, Christ has been there throughout the volume of the book and throughout time as the Alpha and the Omega, and he'll be there at the end. Why wouldn't the prophets be there along too? There's a time where we went into the dark ages where he took them away, but he also in his word states that he was going to bring them back in the latter day. Okay, so why wouldn't they be here? Okay, whoever they be, right? That we should be saved. Okay, verse 71. All right, that we, who's the we? The Israelites, because this is the Israelites speaking here. That we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. And we're specifically on a lesson that's teaching you who is hated, right? Who are the Israelites hated by? By everyone who's not the Israelites, okay? Because again, if they can't join us, they can't beat us, then they're going to hate us, okay? To perform the mercies promised to our fathers, meaning I'm going to keep that promise unto your forefathers. The promise that I made with them still abides in you, okay? We read in Romans to whom the promises go to, okay? The Israelites, okay? So those promises are still in effect for that 1/3 Israelites. That's who the promises are going to be encompassed with to save humanity through that core of those Israelites, right? To perform the mercies promises to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant. To remember the promise, the covenant is a pact, a contract. To remember the contract that I made with your forefathers, right? It still applies to you, right? The Israelites. All right. The oath which he swore to our father. Who's the our? They're talking about the Israelites, our father Abraham, which was the forefather to the Israelites, right? Because through Abraham came Isaac, Isaac bore Jacob, and Jacob is the forefather of the Israelites, right? Through his sons. That he would grant unto us, again, the us being the Israelites, that we be delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear. Okay, so we're going to serve him without fear of our enemies, because the Israelites are going to be delivered from the hands of their enemies in holiness and in righteousness before him all the days of our lives, their lives, right? The Israelite lives, right? So no matter to where we at, in what point in time we be, we, the Israelites, those Israelites at whatever point in time they would be, even to the here and now, this is in effect to them. Guess who? Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go. We went to Second Ezra, that we know that we was going, that Esau is going to be the end of all, okay, and Jacob the beginning of what's to come, right? So what's to come is going to be that kingdom that's going to be ushered in by the king and his people, the Israelites, and yeah, there are going to be other people there, but not in the kingdom, not in through the gates of the kingdom. They have to perform pay homage and servitude unto those chosen. Okay, so they will be led in righteousness by the Israelites and the King of Kings. Okay, all right. Let's go to Revelations 18. I said that I was going to show you America. If you can see it, you can see it. If you can't, you can't. It's fine. I mean, like I said, to some is given the vision, to others parables, right? And we're going to go to verse 2, right, of the 18th chapter of Revelations, and I'll read. This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great has fallen. Okay, remember, there was Babylon and there's Babylon the Great, the mother of all harlots. Okay, this is a higher level Babylon, because what I believe that America is so wicked, it carries the spirit of Edom, Sodom and Gomorrah, Babylon, and every wicked place ever known to man is all encompassed in this one place. But again, you guess who, and you can guess what place this is as well. Guess what? Okay? All right. Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and a hole of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Okay, meaning this place is defiled. Okay, whatever place they're talking about. All right, you guess what? Or guess where? For all nations have drunk of her wine. All nations have, because you got to understand. Again, I'm going to tell you, history repeats itself. Okay. People who have been drunken with the wine of Egypt, drunken with the wine of the Roman Empire, drunken of the wine of the Babylonian Empire, drunken of the wine of the Assyrian Empire, the Greek Empire. Every empire that's ever lived, you get tainted with their doctrines, their laws, their ways, right? Okay, but so what should be any different from this empire, the here and now? What should be any different today, right? If you want to live in Disneyland, think that everything's all kosher and fine, and this is the greatest country on the face of the earth, and we're free here. I don't know who's free. Maybe you're free. I don't know. Let's continue. Guess who, guess where, guess what, right? All right. For all nations have drunk of her wine of her wrath and her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Okay? Who has provided more? Who has shared more wealth? Who has brought this time and age to the forefront of its technology, of its so-called education system, of its doctrines of men, where it comes to abortion, sexuality, gender neutrality, all this wokeness that is going on, right? Who has brought all this to the forefront? I mean, everybody's still, even unto this day, even as it's falling, everybody's still looking towards to America, right? So, I mean, even if this was in reference to another nation in the past, another great nation of the past, it still would be in play for this nation. This nation would fit the bill too. Okay? Hear the word of the Lord. Okay. Yeah, and the Lord does have a dispute, brother Zupili, because the dispute is that they have taken and that they have making a mockery of this word. And I'm only saying what this word is saying, and then it's for you to have the spiritual discernment to see what's being brought out or not. Like I said, you're either built for it or you're not. Okay, all right. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people." Okay, this is the Most High. Here's the dispute, Zupili, that our people need to come out of her. Okay, this is what he's calling for us to do, to come out of her ways, to come out of her doctrines, to come out of her seductions, right? And come back to your ways, your law, statutes, and commandments. If you so deem yourself the Israelites, whoever you may be on the earth today, right? But they need to correlate to what we brought out all day today, right? Or in 2 hours and 30 minutes and counting, right? So I'm going to try to wrap this up. I'm going to jump to actually the downfall of it, right? I think it'll go through 10. All right. For his sins have reached unto the heaven. The sins of this place have already reached the heavens, and God hath remembered her iniquities. It's time for God to put judgment on such a place. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her work. So whatever these wicked nations have done to the apple of the eye of the Most High, they're going to receive twofold. Okay, so it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty for the heathen. So I suggest if you're following after the heathen, you come out of her and come out of her right away, because you don't want a double portion of what you already went through. So that would be a triple portion for you. Wake up. All right. Double according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled to her double. Her cup of iniquity is filled to her double, man. They're giving a double shot of wickedness, and you guys are drinking that double shot of that tainted wine. Okay, come out of her. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she hath saved in her heart, I sit a queen and no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Meaning, she thinks nobody's going to take her down. America the Great. She thinks that she cannot be defeated. That is slowly happening before your eyes if you're not seeing this. Okay? Therefore shall her plagues come in one day. Death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. In one day, the enemies of this place are going to burn it up with fire, okay? With thermonuclear fire in one day. Further along, it says in 1 hour, okay? Because really, what does it take to just launch them, land, boom, destroy? In less than an hour, it's a wrap. Okay? Therefore shall her place come in one day, death, mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. All right? And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and have lived deliciously with her shall bewail her. They're going to be in sorrow, man. We ain't going to make money with this place no more. And lament for her when they say, see the smoke of her burning. They're going to see the thermonuclear mushroom cloud. And they're going to have to stand afar off so they don't receive some of that radiation fallout and avoid her. But they're going to, well, look, man, it's finally done. America the Great has come tumbling down. Oh, excuse me, Babylon the Great has come tumbling down, right? Babylon the Great, the mother of all whores, has fallen, right? And standing afar, verse 10, I'll leave it here. Standing afar off, the fear of the torment, saying they were what kind of torment does a nation have to go through to stand afar off and be like, whoa, I'm not even going there. That place just got nuked, right? saying, alas, alas, the great city Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. All praises. Call halal Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. This is what we pray for this. I mean, we have no hand in it. You know what I mean? We can only pray that the Most High issues out his judgment. I mean, who's going to go up against the Most High? Well, these people think that they're going to go up against the Most High. Why do you think that they created a space force? They added a new force to the armed forces, right? The Space Force, right? There was already 5 armed forces. Now there's 6. Ooh. But and the 6th is supposed to battle with or kind of figure out what's going on in above the firmament, right? Below the firmament, because they can't get past the firmament. Okay, all right. So we're wrapping this up, man. I'm getting to the last. I think 3 verses. I think I got left. We're gonna go to Baruch, the 3rd chapter. Whoever you two that are on here, man, that are hanging in, man. All praises to the Most High, man. You guys are paying attention. I hope that this is being edifying or enriching to you in whatever the Most High deems in your heart. I only pray that when other people view and listening, that they can do as the Most High is requesting for you to come out of her. Please. That I only beg the elect to wake up to that and come out of her and start. Man, this is the great awakening, the great calling, where we're calling for the sheep to finally wake up, hear the voice of your God, and start doing as you're supposed to, so we can get up out of here, so we can just go to the wilderness and allow judgment to befall all these wicked places. Okay? Baruch. We're going to go to the 3rd chapter. It's 37 verses, and this chapter in Baruch is so cold. It was so good that I wanted to bring it all. I wanted to try to see how fast I can get to it. I'm going to read to verse 3 and precept something. Just hang with me, brothers, please. I got you. I got you. All right? So this is Baruch 3, and we'll start from the top. O Lord Almighty, God of Israel. God of who? God of Israel. The soul in anguish, the troubled spirit crieth unto thee, man. There's people that are troubled in their spirit by the, the word says, oppression make a wise man mad. There's people that are going through it so hard, man, that their spirit is crying to the Lord. This needs to be the end all say, or do it away with it. We are not afraid. We already know that you got something bigger and better for us. May your will be done. Okay? That's what we want. So the spirit will, that's what the Israelites want. Okay, sorry. I keep saying we. I don't know. I don't know why I want to include myself in that. I'm just saying the Israelites. Okay? Hear, O Lord, and have mercy, for thou art merciful, and have pity upon us, because we have sinned before thee. So, I mean, we're born unto sin. I'm not saying that I haven't been a sinner. You know what I mean? But do I practice sin now? No, I do not. Okay? But I don't know. I may not be an Israelite according to some people. So, I don't, but I choose not to practice sin. How about that? Okay? So I'm not a willful sinner. Okay? For thou endurest forever, and we perish utterly. O Lord Almighty, thou God of Israel. God of who? God of Israel. Hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites. Dead Israelites. Hear the prayers of the dead Israelites. Hold on, man. Come, let us return to the Lord, for it is he who has torn but will heal us. That's right. That's right. Because We're his creation, so he knows, look, man, if he put Christ HaMashiach through what he put him through and restored him to his greatness and will bring him back in all his glory, how much he cannot do that with us. Khan, Izupili. Thank you for your input, brother. Thank you for hanging in there. All right. But let me get through this because it's only going to make it longer. And sometimes I have things to say on every verse, right? All right. For thou endurest, I'm going to go back to 3 because I was supposed to go to a precept after the 3rd verse. For thou endurest forever and we perish utterly, right? Okay, you know what? I'll read through 4 because the precept that I got will also cover 4. For thou endurest forever and we perish utterly. O Lord Almighty God of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites and their children, which have sinned before thee, and not hearken unto your voice of thee their God, for the which caused thee plague us, the plagues cleave unto us. And so we're still being punished, right? We're still being punished for the actions of our forefathers. We're still being punished for our very own actions, for the sins that we have committed. But again, the Most High is bidding us to come out of us, bidding us to the marriage, bidding us to get our vestures clean and ready to accept and usher in the new kingdom, right? Let's go to St. John 5. St. John 5, the 24th verse. St. John 5 and the 24th verse. And it reads, this is John chapter 5, verse 24. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that heareth my word and believeth on him that sent me have everlasting life, and shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life. Okay? So, right now, a lot of us are the walking dead, or a lot of the Israelites on the earth are the walking dead, right? And so, he's saying, if you start hearing this word and believing in it, right? It says, believeth as the scriptures say, not as no swaggy people say or pastor may say, because pastor may be wrong, believe it or not. You know what I mean? Because again, he's not going through this as the scriptures say, precept upon precept, line upon line, right? Verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now it is when the dead shall hear the voice. So the walking dead, so these are people that are physically living, but they're dead in their spirit, right? This is what it's saying, okay? And so these people will come out of that dead mentality, that dead doctrine, that dead state of mind, and they will hear the voice, right, of the Son of God. And they that hear shall live. Say, my sheep shall hear my voice, right? That's what this is saying, right? For as the Father have life in himself, so hath he given it to the Son to have life in himself. And he hath given him authority. The Most High gave his Son the authority. We went this through last Thursday in the lesson, if you want to catch that. He gave the authority, right, to his Son, right? For as the Father have life in himself, he given it to the Son and have life in himself, and he have given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. All right, meaning He's the king of the people that he chose, right? All right. And marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in which all that are in the graves shall hear his voice. So how is that all that are in the graves going to hear a voice? Because you're spiritually dead, right? But this truth is going to bring you back to life. It's going to wake you up. You need to wake up to this truth and come back to your ways, okay? You Israelites, okay? All right. I'm going to read through 30. And shall come forth they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have those that have done good, right? The chosen 1/3 will always do good. So those that have always followed Christ in the regeneration, they will come into the resurrection of life, right? And they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. So those wicked people just are damned. There's no way around it. They're going to their damnation. I can of my own self do nothing. This is red letter. This is Christ speaking. I can of my own self do nothing. Christ cannot do nothing. So he is still under the hierarchy of his Father, right? But he took his charge. He took his position because the Father loved the Son, and he charged them with everything. You know what? But the Son glorified his Father and everything. Okay? And this is him glorifying the Father. I can of my own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not my own will. He is not. How do you get around this for you Trinitarians, okay? How do you get around this? He says he's not doing his own will. Christ is speaking here, and he's speaking that it's not his own will. Okay? All right. But the will of the Father which has sent him. So that's a separation between him and the Father, but him glorifying the Father, and he's saying, I can only do your will, Father, because you sent me to do it. Okay? And that's the fulfillment. Right? That's the fulfillment that Christian dogma would say, oh, but he fulfilled it. No. He fulfilled it because he was doing it. He was doing God's will. That is the fulfillment of the law. He's fulfilling God's will. And God's will was for him to teach the law, to do the law, and for others to follow in his ways, as an example. I mean, this is not hard to understand. Okay? All right, so then now we're going to go back. We're going to go back to Baruch, okay? Hold on, let me respond to this. I'm sorry you had to endure my chicken pecking. Okay, that's to show you how old school I am. Okay, let me get back to Baruch. Okay, so we left off in verse 4. Remember not the iniquities of, this is verse 5 of the 3rd chapter of Baruch. Remember not the iniquities of our forefathers, but think upon thy power and thy name now at this time. So the prayer is that think of us at this time. I know our forefathers did you wrong, but this is the time, man. This is the time to be glorified, right? John 17, if you read that, and I brought that out last Thursday, It was a John 17 breakdown. The Most High is glorified in his people. So this is the time for him to do so. Okay? And for this cause thou hast put thy fear in our hearts. So the fear of the Most High God is starting to enter into the hearts of the Israelites here and now, in the here and now today, right? So I can't say that I'm witnessing as an impartial onlooker, right? Because who am I? Am I an Israelite? I don't know. But, right? I'm just saying, guess who? I'm just saying, I didn't want to include myself in this today because a lot of people try to say I wasn't. But you know what? As an onlooker, I'm not seeing other people that are really having the fear of God. It says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And the things that I'm hearing are not wise, and they're not according to these scriptures. Okay? All right. Verse 7, and for this cause thou hast put the fear in our hearts to the intent that we should call upon thy name. It's the intent that we call in his name. And praise thee in our captivity. These people are still going through a captivity, okay? Whether it be in chains, yoke of irons, or through propaganda, they're still being captive in their mind, okay? A lot of us still are, right? So, behold, and we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us. Man, here goes that scattering again. So we were scattered all abroad, but to the majority of the places of the grand captivity, right? Because what I was saying earlier, that God, the Most High is going to do it on the most greatest grandeur of a platform that he could possibly do it. So the majority of the scattering is in the place where they would be conquered. Okay, but there's still, there were all other captivities. Just to know that the Israelites, wherever they go, they will be for that captivity. But the biggest platform to express this would have been in the greatest captivities. I'll just say that, not to suggest that it was any specific form of slavery, any specific form of conquest. Guess who? Guess where? Guess what? Okay. All right, man. So I'm leaving it for your discernment, man. I'm just putting out the information, right? All right. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, right? These curses are going to befall the certain people. They're going to be reproached, right? As a sign upon them, right? And to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God. Because what our forefathers did, and the reason why we're in the condition that we're in, is because our forefathers fell into idolatry. Our forefathers wanted to follow after their captors and their ways and their doctrines and their rituals and stray away from their Lord, their God, the God of Israel. The Israelites did, right? All right. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom. Okay? He's going to give wisdom and life to those that give ear. So pay attention. Listen. Learn to listen. Stop being in denial. The evidences, the truth. First of all, if you don't hold this word to be evident, what are you doing? What are you doing following people that want to back up or debunk with scientists and whatever form of opposer, not to call them Edomites, right? But we already went through the fact that the Edomites were the opposition, right? With those doctrines of those men to debunk anything, right? So use this word as evidence, okay? This word should be suffice to prove all things, But we can also back it up with the histories and the archaeologies that the Most High allowed us to uncover as clues. Okay? That's how we uncover the hidden ones. Okay. Back to the. I'm writing solo today, man. So bear with me. Okay? But to the Most High be all the praises and glory and honor, man. Solo, 20, 30, one man, one prophet, 20. It doesn't matter. Let this word get across in whichever form, forum, or vessel it's going to be done in. And I humbly accept the work. Okay? I humbly accept the work for Kwam Yasharala, meaning for the Israelites, right? And for all that can be edified in this word and in the living waters that this word is, man. Drink up, okay? All right, so hear this verse 9. Hear Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom, man. Give ear. Hear Israel. Again, being exclusive to Israel. Hear the commandments that were given to whom? To the Israelites. Give ear to these commandments so you can get this wisdom. The law is spiritual, converting the soul, right? So the Holy Spirit is going to work with you if you're obedient to the will of God. And the will of God is for his people to abide by his law, by his word, by his instruction. How difficult is this, my people? 1 John 5:3 says, for this is the love of God, that we keep the commandments and they're not grievous. So why is this grieving you to do this? Because you're not built for it. Or if you want to start accepting that this should not be grievous to you, and give it a shot. If this is what's yielding in your heart, that all the evidences are pointing to do this, and that you're starting to see who the Israelites are, you already guessed who it is, then put your best foot forward, right? Verse 10, how happeneth it, Israel, that thou art in thine enemy lands? That you're in your enemy's land, right? And thou art waxing old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead. So you're in a place that, first of all, the scripture said, this is not our place of rest. Okay? This is the place of our captivity. And when we deal and we indulge in the place of our captivity, aka Stockholm syndrome, did I say we? The Israelites, while you keep dallying indulging in this dead, forsaken place, you're going to be dead unto the Most High as well. You're going to be destroyed with it. Okay? Thou hast forsaken, thou 11, that thou art counted with them that go down into the grave. You're going to go down into the grave with them. Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom. Okay, where is wisdom found? Wisdom is found in the fear and in the law of thy God. And that's where, when you become obedient to the Most High, is where you're going to gain this wisdom. Okay? All right, so 13. For thou hast walked in the way of God, thou shouldest have dwelt in peace forever. So if you would have done what the Most High instructed to you to do, you would have never, none of this would have befalled you. Okay? All right. Learn, verse 14, learn where is wisdom, where is strength, where is understanding, that thou mayst know also where is the length of days and life, where is the light of the eyes and peace, who have found out her place, or who have come into her treasures. I'll tell you who. The Israelites, the 1/3 of the Israelites. They said the treasures was promised unto them. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. We're gonna finish this up right now. I'm going to give you a precept in Colossians, which this is a co-precept as well. Let's go to Colossians. I want to go the 2nd chapter, 2nd verse. 2nd chapter, 2nd verse. That their hearts may be comforted by being being knit together in love, and unto all riches of the full assurance of understanding. Okay, let this all come into culmination in love. But this is what the Israelites are doing. They should be loving thy neighbor, providing this information so it can be knitted for your understanding in your mind, right? Which is your heart, right? Okay. For the full assurance of understanding, to the acknowledgement of the mystery of God and of the Father and of Christ. Father and of Christ. Okay? Two separate entities. Okay? The understanding will come through the third entity, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. Okay? So they worked in one accord as three separate entities in one accord. Okay, don't get it twisted. All right, in whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. Who are they hid from? They're hid from everyone else but the Israelites. Okay, and this I say, lest any man should beguile you with enticing words. Right? There's people with no swag, but they got enticing words. Right? Don't let yourself be beguiled with such a person. All right? For though I be absent in the flesh, yet I am with you in the spirit, joying and beholding your order and the steadfast of your faith in Christ. So this is not only Paul being in the spirit with his people, the Israelites, also we all should be following this example, whether I'm not in the flesh with you right now, I'm with you in spirit. I'm coming across these frequencies, wave bands to show my love, to show you, that I got love for you, and I want you to understand this, right? But I'm just a guy speaking, right? Guess who? All right. All right. And as ye have therefore received Christ, Yahushua the Lord, so walk ye in him. So follow in his example, right? Rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. Beware lest any man spoil you through the philosophy and the vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. So when these people are going to all these vain babblings and check out the big brain on Brad and look what I found and think, but it doesn't correlate to empower the Israelites. If you're not empowering the Israelites, if you're not in agreement that this word is for the Israelites and for the embedment of the Israelites and for the salvation of the Israelites, you're in opposition to the Israelites. And hence you're in opposition to the people of the Most High. And then hence you're in opposition to the Most High and Christ. Because these people were charged to him, the King of all kings. You're bucking him as well. All right? Even if you in your spirit knowingly know you're the heathen, why would you want to rouse the lion? You know what I mean? Just be as submissive as you can. But that's not in your spirit. But that's would have been us like the suggestion of this onlooker. Okay. All right. That's it for that. We're gonna finish Baruch, and we'll leave it at that. All right. So we left off at Baruch 15, and I'll close it out with that. Okay. So just listen. I'm gonna try to read through it. This is a great cold scripture. Okay. All right. All right, so we left out at 15. I'll start from 15 again. Who have found her place? Who have come into her treasures? Which what the Most High was explaining. This is for the Israelites to know, right? All right. Where are the princes of the heathen become? Where are the princes of the heathen become, and such as ruled the beast upon the earth? They that have their pastime with the fowls of the air, and they that hoarded up the silver and gold. Oh, guess who? Who hoarded up all the silver and gold? Let's go to the history on that. Okay? Where men trust and made no end of their getting. So your greedy ass nearly genocide a group of people just to hoard their gold from them. Did it not Cortez viewed the hospitality of Montezuma, came with barrels of gold to say, hey, friend, here you go. It was nothing to them. They had an abundance. And what did the cunning hunter do? The spirit of Cortez did, right? He saw all that gold. He said, you see all this shit? Kill them. Kill them all and get that gold, right? But guess who, right? Guess who? So who hoarded up all the gold? Where's all the gold on the earth? Right? So-called Fort Knox, so-called in the hands of Amalek, everybody that's not us. Excuse me. Everybody that's not the Israelites. The Israelites had the possessions, but they were drained and sucked of all their resources. Okay? Guess who? Guess who did that? Who did that? Who did that to them poor Israelites? Right? Just sucked up all the gold for themselves. Hoarding, right? Rape, robbing, pillaging. They that had their pastime with the fowls of the air, right? Right? Who are the people that hold them gloves and play with falcons and that? The Israelites don't do that. We're not known for that. All right? All right? Playing with the birds and hoarding up the silver and gold. Wherein men trust. Wherein men trust, right? Men trust. So, well, let's go with the richness of the land of who possesses it, right? He's in charge, right? Where men trust and made no end to their getting, right? So their greed, it was just unquenchable. For they that wrought in silver and were so careful, and whose works are unsearchable. We can't even fathom the mentality of this person's greed, of this wickedness. It's just really unsearchable in our minds. And some of us can't even search it because we don't want to see it. Instead, we want to befriend it. Okay? They are vanished and gone down to the grave, and others are come up in their stead. Right? So one greedy nation after one greedy nation after one greedy nation, they're all confederate to us, to the Israelites. All right? Guess who? They are vanished and gone down to the graves, and others have come up in their stead. Young men have seen light and dwelt upon the earth, but the way of knowledge have they not known. Okay? These people are not seeking the knowledge. The God-given knowledge that they can possess, they're not tapping into it. Okay? It had not been heard of in Shanaan, neither had it been seen in Theman, and the Agareans that seek wisdom upon the earth, the merchants of Meran, and the Theman, and the authors of fables. We know who the fable tellers, right? And searchers, guess who? And searchers out of the understanding. None of these have known the way of wisdom or remember her past. because it's not given to them to be wise. They're going to search it, and they search it in all their vain babblings and all their the vanity of their knowledge, but their knowledge is not the knowledge of the Most High. So hence it's worthless. Okay, it's worthless. All right. O Israel, this is verse 24. O Israel, how great is the house of God, and how large is the place of his possession. Okay? It is Israel to possess all these things. Great and have none end. High and unmeasurable is this kingdom to you. Okay? You Israelites. Guess who? Okay? It's unmeasurable what the Most High has awaiting. Okay? There were the giants, famous from the beginning, that were of so great stature and so expert in war. Okay? So on top of that, we were the greatest, biggest, baddest thing to ever touch the earth. Okay? When the Most High was on the Israelite side, guess who? They were undefeatable. They could not be defeated. Okay? All right. Those did not the Lord choose. Those did not the Lord choose, neither gave the way of knowledge unto them. But they were destroyed because they had no wisdom and perished through their own foolishness. Okay? That's both the enemy and the forefathers of wickedness of the 2/3 of Israel that just went off a hoarding. Okay? That anybody that's not keeping to the instruction is just foolish. It is foolish to be instructed outside of the instructions of the Most High. How simple is that statement? Okay? How simple is that statement to grasp if you're outside of the instructions of the most powerful being on the universe? What are you doing? What are you doing? You know, put the Most High first and everything else is going to be added to you, bro. Why are you not tapping into this? You Israelites. Okay? All right. We're almost done. We're almost done. Who have gone up into heaven and taken her and brought her down from the clouds, who have gone over the seas and found her and will bring her for pure gold. No man knoweth her way, nor thinketh of her path. You guys are not considering this, okay? Right? So that leads me to the precept of the ox knoweth his master's crib, but our people do not consider. Right? Okay, I paraphrase that. You know that one. Ye Israelites, right, should know that one. Okay, guess who? All right, I'm rounding this up. But he that knoweth all things knoweth her, and have found her out with his understanding. He that prepareth the earth for evermore hath filled it with four-footed beasts. He hath sended forth light, and it goeth, calleth again, and it obeyeth him with fear. The stars shineth in their watches, and rejoice. When he calleth them, they say, here we be. And so with cheerfulness, they shew light unto him that made them. This is the 1/3. Okay? This is the only ones that are going to get it. These are the only ones that when he calleth, they say, here I am. Guess who? This is our God. And there shall none other be accounted of in comparison of him. There is nothing greater than the God of Israel. Be ye proud, Israelites, that there is none greater than thy God, the God of Israel. Who these Israelites are? They're one lucky bunch. And you should be humble to be part of his election. I'm down to the last two verses, guys. Roll with me, ride with me to the end, right? But it says, he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. Okay? The keepers of his commandments. This is the only people that the Most High is considering. The people that are willing to do his will by nature. Okay? There is our God, and there shall not be accounted of in comparison of him. Nobody in comparison. He hath found out all the way of knowledge and have given it unto Jacob. So here we go, rounding it back to the beginning. You have two nations in your womb. The promise went to Jacob. The promise went to Isaac, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? The promise is unto the Israelite. Here he goes. I have found out all the way of knowledge and I have given it unto Jacob, his servant, and to Israel, his beloved. That's so cold, because he only gave it to the Israelites. How do you get around this? How do you get around this? Afterwards did he show himself upon the earth and conversed with men. And the only men he considers, he said he made the world for their sakes. 1/3 of Israel, Guam Yasharala. Guess who? I'll leave it at that. Guess who's the oppressed? Guess who's the wicked of the earth? All the evidences that I've presented today, reason with the scriptures. Okay? And guess who? All right? So with that being said, that's the end of the guess who. You already know how I feel about it. I played with it till the end. You know, not that I played with the scriptures. I brought everything in all sincerity so that you guys can analyze who is the Most High favoring it. It was done in his pleasure. And with that being said, Kwam Yasharala, to the elect of Israel, may the Most High bless you, and may we keep planting these seeds, harvest this fruit, and get ready for departure. With that, I'm signing out. Kwam Yasharala, Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatah, Kal Halal, Abanawa Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Mamalak, Adawan, Yahweh Shai, Barakadash, Barakatah, Barakwapa, Kwam Yasharala. Hey, bro. Till next time, man. Follow the lost sheep of Israel. If you like Spanish, Ovejas Perdidas de Israel, man, it was good for me. Was it good for you? Give up likes in the comments. Subscribe if you feel you could be this elect, these Israelites that we brought out today in description. We bidding you to the wedding. Clean up. Get these sins off of you. Stop practicing sin. Come out of her wickedness. And like I said, get ready for departure. Shalom.